Are we on? Oh, hi.
We are.
Hi.
Hello.
Morning, everyone. I'm Claire Young. I'm the CEO of Girl&Bear. Thank you for joining us today for this one of the first chats. I'm joined by two of our very special clients who I'll let introduce themselves.
Can you hear me? Yeah, it's definitely working. I'm Gabriella Neudecker. I'm the marketing director at easyJet.
Hi, and I'm Phil Warfield. I'm Cadbury Equity Director at Mondelez.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Gabriella. Thank you so much for being here. So we've only got 20 minutes for this chat today. So we all know that AI is a very hot topic. We're on the AI stage. You're going to be hearing a lot of chats today if you're hanging around in these parts. Lots of the conversations over the last couple of years have been quite deep, quite heavy. There's lots of pro-AI, there's lots of anti-AI. But what we do know now is it's going nowhere. So our plan today is to actually ease us into the day and keep things quite light, keep things quite conversational, cut the deep and heavy, and talk really from a pragmatic perspective as to where we are as sort of, within what we're doing, how AI is affecting our day-to-day, both under the bonnet, but also in relation to the work that we're putting out in the real world. So, yeah, we're going to keep it light, we're going to keep it conversational. So to kick us off, I'm going to play something, hopefully. Let's hope the tech works. Ooh. No volume?
I'm all in on OKC!
Indiana got that dog in them.
Will egg prices go up this month?
I think we'll hit $20.
How many hurricanes do you think we'll have this year?
Kalshi lets you legally trade on anything, anywhere in the U.S. OKC!
Indy! OKC!
Okay, so 30 seconds potentially of sensory overload there. Hopefully that's woken you up on this hot Tuesday morning. So that film ran in the NBA Finals on US TV a few weeks ago. I'm sure some of you have already seen it. It was made by one person over a weekend, 2 to 3 days, and for very minimal cost. So to get us going with our chat, I would love to ask you guys how you feel about that work. Is it craft? Is it craft in the making, or are we compromising too much? Gabriella, can we start with you, please?
Yeah, sure. It feels to me like one of those ads that's, everyone in the industry is like, isn't this amazing? It's been made entirely by AI and everyone's congratulating themselves. But I find that there's basically hardly any narrative there. Yeah. It's more about the feat of the achievement rather than the actual quality of the work. And I'd question how effective it is as a piece of advertising because it's entirely chaotic. There's no narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
But admirable from the perspective that it's, technically, obviously tip-top, but in terms of a narrative and a piece of effectiveness, I would say no.
Yeah, geez, I don't know if it's the heat or that. I feel like I need to lie down after that one. It was very exciting, wasn't it? I think for me, whether it's AI or traditional production techniques, the fundamentals of making a great ad are going to stay true. So what's the impact of the ad? Is there a clear message? Is it engaging? And is it distinctive? So is your brand standing out? And I think as you go through that, lots going on, slightly chaotic. Was there a clear message? I think from a distinctive brand assets point of view, I know the brand name was shouted quite a lot, but am I really going to understand what the brand is coming out of it? So for me, I think probably compromise, Claire. Yeah,
I mean, lots of conversation or lots of chat there about what it's actually doing for the brand. I mean, I guess given that we're talking about it, it did bring fame for the brand, but is it bringing any more than that? Is it bringing
fame for having produced a piece of advertising by AI, but not fame because it's effective or had presumably an impact?
Exactly. So when we were talking about what we were going to chat about today, we touched on authenticity. Appreciate that's quite a broad word, but it's very, very linked to how we're using AI and what we're doing with AI. It's certainly a hot topic of conversation with the legal teams. I'm sure you'll all agree. But it definitely throws up some interesting conversations in this space. How are you guys as brand leaders feeling about putting a work created with AI into the real world and representing your brand? And Gabriella, I'll start with you again, if that's okay.
So we're thinking about it, but more in terms of kind of making the commoditized part of what we do, so the production bit of what we do, cheaper, because we've always been about investing in the kind of top of funnel, more strategic work and the value of people's creative thinking. So I don't want to take anything away from that. For me, it would be about how you make the automation and the production element of it cheaper. But our creative idea doesn't lend itself well to AI because it's all about authenticity, real people going on holiday, showing their holiday as it really is, not polished. We always talk about visceral, authentic, and in fact, we send out real creators to make that content. We don't do fully produced TV advertising shoots in the way that we used to. So we send out, not influencers, but creators to make that content for us. And obviously, we're selling destinations as well. So having people who've been made by AI or destinations that have been generated by AI doesn't feel in any way in tune with our creative approach or our brand strategy.
It's definitely a very, very delicate balance, isn't it? Phil, how are you feeling about AI representing Cadbury?
Yeah, I mean, I think authenticity is the word, and certainly when you've got a purpose-driven brand like Cadbury, there's a lot of watch-outs. Certainly some of the experimentation we've been doing in AI, we've got huge amounts of learning just about almost brand guardianship. So there's a couple of specific areas and watch-outs. So one is the data that you're loading into the tools and ensuring that it hasn't got inherent bias in it as you're training the AI tool, because that will come out at the other end. And the other point kind of leading off of that is making sure that it's as representative as it can be. So certainly in the examples we've worked on, we've had to set our own D&I standards to ensure that the output is as representative of our audience, our consumers, and of the brand as possible.
Just actually, Phil, just to expand on that. We'll talk a little bit more in a moment about how we're using AI to see tangible results under the bonnet. But is there a sense in which we can use AI to enhance that consumer's experience of a brand and the consumer's engagement and emotional connection? And I am going to ask you to go first on this one, Phil, because I know that Cadbury are doing such brilliant work in this space.
I think as we look at AI, it's like another tool in the toolbox in terms of the creative process and production and how we use it. Good example of how we've used it over the past kind of 6 to 12 months was last year Cadbury celebrated its 200th anniversary, very proud moment for the business. And we had a campaign called Yours for 200 Years, which was really about celebrating the role that the great British public have played in the brand. And specifically, we had an activation called My Cadbury Era, which was an AI-powered tool which allowed consumers, the great British public, to upload a photo, choose a poster from our archives from the past 200 years, and really create this bespoke AI-powered piece of creative. It performed phenomenally well for us, so we had 70,000 posters produced, over 50% opt-in for data, and drove sales kind of 10% up over that period. There are a couple of key learnings in it. One, from a production point of view, we had to take a proprietary approach. If we'd have just used AI kind of image creation out of the box, it would have fallen foul on two levels. One, actually the creative production standards we set us for, and Girl&Bear and the team set us up. It wouldn't deliver, so it was AI plus a lot of the traditional post-production techniques that you'll be familiar with. And the second was brand guardianship, so for some of the reasons I've discussed before about the inherent bias and D&I standards that we set ourselves. I think that the great thing about it as an activation was if VCCP or Girl&Bear had come and pitched this to us a few years ago, our pushback would have been, no, it doesn't deliver the scale we're after. Like, the cost would be prohibitive to try and get to like 70,000 unique personalized posters. AI has empowered that. AI has allowed us to get to that personalization at scale that we'd never be able to without it. So
Amazing.
It's a real tangible example of this. AI plus human creativity gives us personalization at scale.
Yeah, it's such a good, positive example of using AI to expand what we can already do and give us more breadth and depth and personalization. So continuing on this topic, as brand leaders again, how will you continue to ensure that consumer interactions with your brands, when AI is being used to create work, still feels authentic, human and true to your DNAs?
So I feel like we're sort of, the way we're looking at it at the moment is we almost separate it into exploiting what we've already got, because we've got loads of content and we're not actually using it all. So AI is helping us to discover and tag and find all of that content so that we can make it usable. Then to kind of augment what we have and exploit it further. So if you think about our onboard brochure, for example, our GT3, you know, we're shooting, 500 different items every single month. We need to fill in the backgrounds. We need to have those in different positions. So that's a really another good use case for AI. We use AI for, we've trained a copy tool on our tone of voice. So we're starting to experiment with that now in English, but we'd like to roll that out across the UK, across Europe and into other channels. So it's kind of about exploiting what we've got, creating iterative versions of what we've got, and then starting to look at net new stuff. And obviously we will do that with caution for all the reasons I've just described, which is, we're selling a real destination with real people. The whole brand strategy is about reflecting people's true experience of the unbounded joy of travel, and therefore we need to be really careful about how we represent that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that sort of tentative, really considered approach, but using it to help us be more efficient and, like you said, on the mechanics of what we've already got, extending and expanding on that. Just to pass that over to you, Phil. Do you think AI is threatening our strategic, creative production teams, or is it liberating them, or is it a bit of both?
If I said yes, that would be a difficult answer, wouldn't it? I think, the way I look at AI, and certainly where we are at the moment, is building on a lot of the points Gabriella just made. What's the low-hanging fruit we can use it for in terms of driving efficiencies? So those jobs from a production point of view, where it's repurposing assets, resizing, embedding kind of data tags in it. That takes a lot of time and effort and cost, and actually detracts and takes away from where we'd love to be spending the money, which is in the craft. So I see AI as, driving efficiencies and kind of standardizing quality, but it's about freeing up that time for the craft and bringing the human ingenuity to the areas where we want it to be focused. So driving that personalization at scale, driving a higher quality of assets than we've ever had before. So if I come back, no, I don't think it's the death of traditional production and
humanity.
Teams. I think human ingenuity and creativity is going to be at the heart of whatever we do with AI. It will
prevail.
I think we've just spent ages, have so much money on that kind of money and time on that commoditized part of what we do. And what it means is we don't need to do that anymore, and you can spend more time in the stuff that creates more value. So we're doing an experiment with Google as well around how we launch into new markets without incurring huge amounts of fixed costs. And you can use AI agents to coordinate all of that. If we get that off the ground, that will be really transformational for the marketing
And that's
team.
liberating, right?
Completely liberating, because, instead of spending time creating assets, pushing them through approval processes, you're actually doing stuff that has, strategic value.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've definitely been touching here under the bonnet how AI can help us be more efficient, how it can liberate us. It definitely is in the world of production. We're using it very much sort of behind the scenes to accelerate our teams and accelerate the people and the talented people in Girl&Bear. But let's just go back out into the real world. We're running out of time, I know. I said this was going to go quick. We've got 2 more questions. But as an industry, we are being barraged with AI opportunities here, there, and everywhere. We, as partners, are running our own pilots. We've made work and put it in the real world, work we're incredibly proud of, and work that definitely expanded what we could have done before AI. But putting our work aside, what's inspiring you, or who's inspiring you? Who's put work out into the real world made by AI that you thought, wow, we should do a little bit of that? Can I put you on the spot there, Gabriella?
Yeah, I was going to say, so obviously the worry is that it's not a completely fair, authentic representation, and that's a concern. So the one that I really like is the Heinz one, where they ask people, because they know, well, one, it's a proper category leader approach, because it's people put ketchup into AI and it produced this Heinz bottle, but also they knew it wouldn't be perfect, which was always the concern, and then the discussion became around the imperfections. Yep. So I thought on every level that was brilliant.
Leaning into
the fact that it's not going to be spot on, but also telling the world that there's only one, and we are absolutely the category leader.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Great example, I love it.
Really good example. How about you, Phil? Who's setting the pace out there from your perspective?
Yeah,
who's inspiring you?
Sounds like we're all kind of fishing in the same pond, to be honest, in terms of a lot of the examples. Have we got anyone from Coca-Cola in? No one from Coke?
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
Too early.
So Coca-Cola are doing some great work at the moment in association with Adobe on Project Vision.
Yes.
Essentially, the challenge being, how do you, across multiple markets, thousands of assets, many different brands, how do you deliver a level of continuity and consistency, but equally add the wriggle room for local market nuance? So what they're developing is a set of kind of brand fundamental guidelines that aren't just that in its kind of traditional PDF sense that then get sent around the markets, but an intuitive, intelligent, adaptable set of guidelines that can be sent to markets. The developers and creatives and illustrators can have those and have the flexibility to alter for what their individual market needs are.
It's a great example.
And I think what I just love about it is, this puts craft at the heart of it. It's not about, here's just the standardized, efficient approach.
I'm getting all the nods. I'd love to ask one very, very quick question before we end. It's very, very quick. Our whole world is changing. I anticipate in 3 to 5 years we will not be producing work the way we produce today, and it will be almost predominantly led by AI. How does that make you feel? In 3 words or a quick sentence? Gabriella, on the spot.
Worried. Opportunistic, energetic.
Energy.
Sort of conflicts there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel
that's how I
like
feel,
we can all relate to that. How about you, Phil?
Embrace the revolution.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I love it. We are at the end. I'm getting all the nods. There were some really powerful words. Let's stay feeling the opportunity and feeling energized. I definitely feel very energized by you guys sharing your insights. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Audience, thank you for being here. Just before, thank you. Especially on this very hot Tuesday morning. We've got one film to play before we end. I think it's just a really great example of AI used in a good way. It's very satirical, it's engaging, and it's definitely in the theme of Madfest, less boring. Thank you all so much for coming.
Finally meeting Bigfoot Vlogs, my favorite vlogger in the wild. I never miss a episode. You the best.
So do you think you could take on 100 gorillas? Be honest.
Now we're eating here. I have a snow sandwich. And Bigfoot.
That's it for today's wild adventure, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay warm.
Bigfoot does exist. Thank you all. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Gabriella. Have a lovely day, everyone.